Welcome back to Football Daily, where today we're running through 10 transfers you might have missed this summer. Let's get into it. 10. Folarin Balogun to Monaco. This transfer didn't fly as under the radar as some of the ones you're about to see on the list, but it still felt like Folarin Balogun's move to Monaco came out of nowhere. Heavily linked with both Milan clubs as well as Premier League rivals Tottenham, Chelsea and Man United, the Arsenal Academy graduate was hot property this summer after scoring 21 goals on loan at French side Rennes in 2022-2023. At the Emirates since he was 8, the emergence of Eddie Nketiah as an able backup to Gabriel Jesus last term saw Balogun become surplus to requirements in North London. But given his pedigree, price tag and the high demand for centre-forwards in the summer market, it felt like a move to a Champions League club was inevitable. Instead, he ended up at Monaco, who despite possessing the second best attack in France last year, failed to even qualify for the Europa League, in a move which most likely would not have happened had Breel Embolo not suffered an ACL injury on the eve of the new campaign. And he could be in for another prolific season, with Monaco kicking off the 23-24 campaign with a bang under new head coach Adi Hütter. If the Austrian tactician can find a way of successfully playing both him and Wissam Ben Yedder up front, then a return to the Champions League is likely to be on the cards. 9. Jesper Lindström to Napoli. Signed 2 days before the window slammed shut, Napoli spent a reported €30 million on Jesper Lindström, with the 10-cap Dane signing a 5-year deal. This represented something of a coup for the Little Donkeys, with the winger who can also play as a number 10 emerging as one of the Bundesliga's most promising young forwards over the last 2 campaigns at Eintracht Frankfurt, leading to links with clubs of the calibre of Arsenal in 2023. With Victor Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia already established, Lindström's task is simple: improve on the output of Hirving Lozano, who returned to his former club PSV on deadline day. Following a promising first season in Naples, the Mexican underwhelmed, never starting more than 20 league games in either of his final 2 campaigns and contributing to just 6 league goals in 2022-23. 5 years younger, Lindström is already operating at a similar level, averaging double the amount of goals per 90 at 0.34 and averaging the same amount of shots at 2.3, despite playing for a Conference League level side in Frankfurt rather than Lozano's league-dominant Napoli side. 3 points off an Inter Milan side who are yet to concede a goal, Rudi Garcia needs Lindström to hit the ground running in his new environment. 8. Matteo Guendouzi to Lazio. Speaking of Napoli, the side that have dented their title defence at this early stage are none other than Maurizio Sarri's Lazio, who secured their first win of the season against the Partenope, continuing the momentum gained from the end of the window where they managed to sign former Marseille star Matteo Guendouzi. The 24-year-old midfielder had excelled at points during his time in southern France, with the 21-22 campaign under the tutelage of Jorge Sampaoli, in which he contributed to 10 league goals and featured in every single game, particularly impressive. But the arrival of Marcelino and Jeffrey Kondogbia this summer, along with a horror show performance during their Champions League playoff defeat to Panathinaikos, meant Guendouzi was an expendable option. Lazio picked him up for a paltry €1 million loan fee and have a €12 million option to buy, meaning that if Guendouzi does get back to his best, this has the potential to be one of the deals of the summer. With Daichi Kamada arriving on a free and Nicola Ravella, who's so impressed on loan at Monza, Sarri has managed to rebuild Lazio's midfield for €1 million. 7. Konstantinos Mavropanos to West Ham. Amidst all the excitement of multiple midfield signings with Mohamed Kudus, James Ward-Prowse and Edson Alvarez all arriving at the London Stadium for £1.7 million less than the fee Arsenal paid for Declan Rice, it would have been easy to overlook Konstantinos Mavropanos' move from Stuttgart. Across the last 3 seasons in South Germany, the 6'4" Greek international has played in a team that has for the most part struggled, only surviving courtesy of winning the relegation playoff in his 2 final campaigns. As a result, it's not a surprise to see his defensive numbers pop, with no player topping his 63 interceptions in the Bundesliga last term, whilst his 81 aerial duel wins also rank him in the top 20. He's not just a very good defender though, he's completing more progressive passes than Gvardiol last term in a similar amount of minutes and contributing to 0.2 non-penalty expected goals and assists, second to Christian Günther amongst Bundesliga centre-backs. With Zuma and Ageld having missed 34 games between them last term, Ogbonna 35 and Thilo Kehrer inconsistent, there should be plenty of opportunities for Mavropanos to prove West Ham's £17 million investment as a very shrewd one. 6. Borna Sosa to Ajax. Another Stuttgart star to leave the Bundesliga this summer was attacking fullback Borna Sosa, whose move away from the Baden-Württemberg felt long overdue. Despite his side flirting with relegation in the last 2 seasons, Sosa's output remained excellent, registering 15 assists across the 21-22 and 22-23 campaigns to go with his 9 from 2021, when they finished an impressive 9th. And having been with the German outfit since 2018, he finally secured a move away this summer. Ajax secured his services for just €8 million. But despite his previous exploits, the Croatia international won't be an automatic starter in Amsterdam. Arriving 10 days after 21-year-old Gaston Avila was signed from Royal Antwerp. This should make for some healthy competition in the left-back slot, with the Argentinian youngster more shot-hungry and Sosa much more accomplished creatively. With Ajax actually struggling in the early weeks of the season under new boss Maurice Stein, sitting 11th with just one win from their first 3 games and losing key assets in Davy Klaassen and Mohamed Kudus, a player of Sosa's profile is especially needed. 5. Niklas Füllkrug to Borussia Dortmund. Another deadline day transfer saw Bundesliga cult hero Niklas Füllkrug join Borussia Dortmund for an initial €15 million. And whilst we're delighted that someone who has played in the 3rd tier of German football has landed a spot with one of Germany's biggest clubs, it does feel a little bit of a strange move by Borussia Dortmund. Whilst he showed his quality last term, scoring 16 league goals in 28 games, a tally that saw him share the golden boot with Christopher Nkunku at 30, a year older than Sepp Haller, he's barely a long-term option. Factor in the fact they've already got 18-year-old Moukoko on their books and Adeyemi who can play centrally, it doesn't seem a totally necessary signing. Moukoko may still be in his teens, but having scored 7 and assisted 3, an average of a league goal contribution every 114 minutes last term, form that saw him break into the Germany squad, he'll no doubt be disappointed to be facing another stumbling block ahead of the Euros in his home country next summer. Could they have put Füllkrug's fee towards upgrading in the right-back slot? A lot of Borussia Dortmund fans certainly seem to think so. 4. Maxime Lopez to Fiorentina. One of the biggest stories from this summer's deadline day was Manchester United finally securing the services of Sofiane Amrabat, with the Morocco international making the move to Old Trafford after 2 months of near constant speculation. But while he was an important member of Vincenzo Italiano's side, Viola fans should be fairly happy with his replacement Maxime Lopez, bought from Sassuolo on loan with an option to buy worth a reported €8 million. A teenage sensation at Marseille where he hit 3 goals and 7 assists from central midfield in 16-17, Lopez hasn't hit the heights once projected for him, but at 25 has forged a very respectable career in Serie A, helping to compensate for the departure of Manuel Locatelli at Sassuolo after completing his permanent switch to the Nero Verde in 2021. Like Amrabat, Lopez is an excellent distributor from deep, ranking in the top 6% of midfielders in Europe for progressive passes, particularly impressive in a side that averaged just 49% possession last term. While he isn't a huge tackler, his ability on the ball should mean that Amrabat's absence isn't felt as badly. Even at 5'6", he's certainly much smaller in stature than the 6'1" new United signing. 3. Nathan Tella to Bayer Leverkusen. Nathan Tella is conclusive proof that the loan system works. The 24-year-old struggled to establish himself at boyhood club Southampton, starting 17 league games in 2 seasons before electing to leave on loan to Vincent Kompany's Burnley in 22-23. Everyone knows what happened next. Burnley blitzed the championship, racking up 101 points with Tella a crucial component of that success, scoring 19 goals, 16 more than he'd scored in his entire senior career up to that point. With his parent club replaced by Burnley in the top flight, most assumed that Tella, having proved himself as an excellent championship forward, would be utilised by Russell Martin this term. But with 4 days of the window remaining, Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen swooped, signing the Lambeth-born forward for a reported £20 million fee. Swapping St Mary's for the 30,000 Bay Arena and the opportunity to play alongside the likes of Jeremy Frimpong, Florian Wirtz and Victor Boniface. What a move. 2. Jorginho Wijnaldum to Al Ettifaq. Completed after the transfer window shut across Europe, PSG outcast Jorginho Wijnaldum benefited from the Saudi Pro League's later deadline, linking back up with Jordan Henderson at Al Ettifaq, 2 years after leaving Liverpool for the French capital for what he probably thought was his last big payday. His latest move has bagged the Ligue 1 champions €8 million, and while his Saudi salary is yet to be reported, you'd expect it to be a rise on what he was earning in Paris, said to be around €13 million a year. But his arrival in Saudi feels like fairly unimaginative recruitment yet again from manager Steven Gerrard. Kept out for the majority of last season with a fractured tibia, Wijnaldum may possess a long-running understanding with midfield partner Henderson, but in a league that has increased massively in terms of quality with the signings made this summer, it's far from a given that his latest venture will be a success. 1. WAHI to Lens. Despite involving the joint largest fee spent by any French club not named PSG this summer, WAHI's move to Lens hasn't received a whole lot of hype, despite the 20-year-old being tasked with filling the big shoes left by Lois Openda, at a club that missed out on Ligue 1 by a single point last term and are competing in this season's Champions League. Lens understandably had a tough start to the season given the talent they sold in the summer, and WAHI's involvement at the time of writing has been a sub-appearance in a defeat to PSG and a start in a defeat to Monaco, having only signed in late August. We're yet to find out if he can produce the goods after making the move from Montpellier to northern France, and while 19 goals in the league last term was very impressive, he overperformed expected goals by almost 7 and only turned 20 in January. So it's a tall order for the youngster to replace Openda's excellent output, just as it will be for Lens to finish in the European spots for a second year running. So that was our list of 10 signings you might well have missed this summer. If you enjoyed it, then make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. We'll see you later. Goodbye.